Most of us know that celebrities are pretty much universally spineless, and celebs and influencers in Russia are really no exception. What is up, people? It is your boy Roman, your favorite neighborhood Russian, and in today's video, we're gonna be remembering the legendary Russian almost naked party, which literally destroyed like half of Russia's show business, and the consequences of that party are still happening today. And Russian celebrities have once again hit yet another new low, even though I didn't think going any lower was even possible. And I'm in particular talking about the organizer of the event, Nastya Ivleeva, who has essentially become fully Z. Now, if you guys are actually unfamiliar with the situation, I'm gonna give you a quick recap. On the 20th of December of 2023, Nastya Ivleeva, a very famous big Russian influencer, TV host, model, etc., threw a so-called almost naked party, which was a party that was attended by a ton of Russian celebrities. All of them were dressed in pretty zesty outfits, and Nastya Ivleeva herself actually wore a gem worth 24 million rubles on her bottom. And essentially what happened is that this party caught the attention of the Z public in Russia and also the Russian government, and the party was essentially slammed as an example of Western debauchery and degeneracy happening in Russia, and every single celebrity that attended the party got in very, very deep trouble. Now, initially, this whole thing actually started with Russian soldiers on the front line in Ukraine making a video saying that they were deeply offended by this party, and after this, the government caught wind of that and started taking heads off. The Russian singer Dima Bilan, for example, attended the party and was immediately cancelled, and a lot of his shows were cancelled. He essentially had to record an apology video and also visit the front line to help, our boys or whatever. Another big Russian singer, Philip Kirkorov, who also attended the party, had a great outfit on. His concerts got immediately cancelled. He actually got removed from a movie that he was already starring in and was replaced by a different actor. And he's essentially currently running around and embarrassing himself and trying to win, the government's approval back or whatever. The Russian rapper Vasyo, who actually visited this party wearing nothing except a sock over his penis, yes, literally, he was fined for LGBT propaganda and also literally almost sent to the army and to the front line in Ukraine as a punishment. Because yes, of course, that makes a lot of sense. And little update, by the way, this guy actually had a pretty interesting development in his story recently, because it turned out that he recently managed to escape to the United States. So I guess he maybe crossed the border, or perhaps maybe he has an asylum case going now, because he did get trialed under an anti-LGBT law, right? So he's not going to the army anymore, I guess. At least one good ending in this entire story. However, this entire situation was obviously by far the worst for the organizer, Nastya Ivleeva. First of all, what happened is that she was immediately dropped by two huge Russian brands that she was an ambassador for, the Russian mobile carrier MTS and also the Russian bank Timecodes. She immediately started getting attacked relentlessly in Russian propaganda and Russian media. She got hit with all sorts of fines and legal troubles. For example, she's been fined at this point not only for propaganda of LGBT and propaganda of non-traditional relations, because yes, a bunch of adults wearing slightly revealing clothing is inherently LGBT propaganda. She's also been convicted and fined for the discreditation of Russian armed forces. She was also supposedly facing an actual 1 billion ruble class action lawsuit for moral damages or whatever. And essentially what happened is that she kind of went quiet. Now here's the thing you guys gotta understand about this entire naked party, right? The reaction of Russian society was that most people actually did not care.
Все равно. Мне абсолютно безразлично.
Once again, these kinds of parties have already happened in Russia before. This is nothing new for Russia, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing that would be way too out there for Russia, right? As far as people's morals go, at least, right? The government definitely has a different view on this. But yes, essentially the only people that were mad at Nastya Ivleeva and all these celebrities, like genuinely pissed, from the point of view of, how dare you throw this debaucherous LGBT degeneracy party when our boys are dying on the front line? Other than these people, nobody cared, and especially the actual fans and followers of Nastya Ivleeva were completely on her side and were defending her, and were just waiting for her to come back. And boy, did she come back. But the whole reason why Nastya Ivleeva's fan base was not mad at her was because Nastya Ivleeva herself has always been very pro-Western. She was openly feminist, and she definitely was not like a sort of a Slavic tradwife character. She supported LGBT, she did not support any traditional values. She has publicly spoken out in support of Alexei Navalny, the main Russian opposition figure, many times. Right after the start of the war in Ukraine, she's made a few anti-war posts on her Instagram, essentially saying that this needs to be stopped. And just a few months before this party, she's attended a Prada show in Milan. All I'm saying is, guys, she was a very openly progressive and pro-Western person. And those things that I've just named are the exact reasons why what's been happening to Nastya Ivleeva recently has been absolutely terrifying, and it is just a perfect example that shows how Russia can actually destroy a person. And how Russia really can break anybody, and how it might be able to break you. So initially, right after this almost naked party took place, Nastya Ivleeva and every other celebrity that was at this party made an apology video, where essentially they appeared in front of the camera looking very sad and saying how we are very sorry for, acting like this and conducting this terrible party in such, a hard time that Russia has inflicted on itself. Anyway, all the celebrities apologized for their terrible behavior, and all of them wore apology turtlenecks. Yes, this is even a new meme now in Russia, because pretty much almost every single celebrity that actually made an apology video for this party has appeared in the video in a turtleneck, essentially because I guess turtlenecks make you look humble or something. I am not really sure what all the fuss is about though, but just in case, guys, I'm terribly sorry if I've ever let you down, and I'm terribly sorry to the Russian government if they do watch this video and decide to kill me. I just uploaded the wrong video, you guys. But yes, anyway, back to it. After dropping her apology, or should I say multiple apologies, Nastya Ivleeva basically kind of went silent, and while all of these other Russian celebrities that took part in her party were basically taking trips to the Donbass, visiting like orphanages and dog shelters or whatever, and while all of this was going on, Ivleeva basically was not saying anything. However, in February of 2024, she has started getting active again. First, on 23rd of February, she has congratulated all the Russian men and soldiers with the Day of the Defenders of the Fatherland. That is an actual holiday that exists in Russia, by the way, guys, yes. And her next post was by far, the greatest yet, because in it she said that she's recently watched the new Vladimir Putin address to the Russian government, and essentially in the post she wrote that she likes the ideas that Vladimir Putin has set out during this speech, and that she thinks that, all things considered, she would like to vote for Vladimir Putin in this election because she likes his ideas. And guys, by the way, in case if you want to see how her audience reacted to this, just check out the dislikes on the posts. I mean, it's insane, absolutely ratioed. And after this, on the day of the Russian election, she's also posted a photo of herself, essentially at the election voting for Vladimir Putin. So, very well done. So at this point, guys, I felt like there is really no way for Ivleeva to sink any lower. However, I was very much mistaken, because recently, and this is, by the way, the main part of the video, that this is what I want to show here. She's been featured in an interview that went infamously viral with a Russian propagandist called Luka Yipkov. Essentially, this is one of those guys who's come out completely nowhere around the last year or so, because Russia has been investing hard into new YouTube propaganda, essentially. So, like this fucker, this guy right here, these are the new faces of Russian propaganda on YouTube, essentially. I also love his last name, Yipkov. That's like a Gaylord fucker sounding last name for sure. I really hope that is a pseudonym, but anyway. Nastya Ivleeva gave this guy an interview in which she talks about the naked party and the aftermath of it. And also in this video, she basically flat out says that for her birthday, she has visited Donbass and she's visited Mariupol. She also says that she supports Vladimir Putin and that she supports this special military operation, that she donates to the army of Russia, and also that she has essentially changed her entire persona and now she wants to work to promote traditional values on the Russian internet. So, this interview came out a month ago, and it's one of the worst things I've seen, and I've been, battling with myself whether I should talk about it or not, but I decided to anyway.
Мне бы хотелось ответить коротко. Это было мероприятие, которое произошло не в то время, не в том месте.
So yes, essentially in this interview they talk about a bunch of different things like hate on the internet and cancel culture, rumors about her leaving Russia. Then here she talks about how she visited Donbass, and yes, this fucking shot, I mean, dear God. I'm just gonna quote a comment to you guys. A set of tea cutlery, sushki, which is a kind of a traditional Russian pastry, water, the icons. I'm just rolling on the floor from this new moral identity she's got. Or this comment saying, I'm looking at the shot with the Orthodox icon in her apartment, and I'm thinking about her house in Moscow where she has a sofa in the form of a penis. I mean, this is fucking insane. Like, she's even trying to make her apartment now look like the most trad wife, sort of like traditional orthodox grandma vibe apartment ever, just to show people that she's like no longer with the Western degeneracy and whatnot. This is insane. This is absolutely fucking ridiculous, and I'm at least, you know, glad that the commenters are with it.
У тебя был недавно день рождения. Отмечала как-то, закатила вечеринку.
Я была на Донбассе. Такое было принято решение. Мне было очень важно поехать самостоятельно, чтобы, ну, в плане самостоятельно, без подсвечивания СМИ, ну и в целом познакомиться с регионами, с людьми, которые там проживают по возможности. И я это сделала.
This is amazing. I mean, this is so insane. She was Russia's biggest influencer that actually had like contacts with huge Western companies like Prada or whatever, right? She wanted that life. She wanted to be that huge influencer. She wanted that Western lifestyle. And now what she's done is that she's just admitted to essentially visiting occupied territories and, well, I don't know. I don't know what that makes her. She's essentially went from Prada runway to fucking Nuremberg trial. Fucking, you know. I mean, I don't know, guys. Is that a fair trade? Is this something that she actually really wants and, you know, she's really honest about on, you know, very deep inside? I don't know. You guys be the judge.
В какие города посетила?
Мариуполь. Ты был там, видел.
Когда началась спецоперация, ты выкладывала картинки, призывающие к миру. После вечеринки ты их удалила, потом опять вернула. Зачем ты их удаляла, потом восстанавливала?
Ну, я думаю, комментировать сами публикации, которые были 2 года назад, ну, это уже не актуально, потому что там не было никакого ни разбора, ни понимания, в принципе, даже не знания каких-то маломальских базовых исторических данных, чтобы, ну, по крайней мере, провести какой-то анализ и сделать правильный выбор. Но смысл, в принципе-то, он и остался. Ну, я против любой войны. Это нормально. Нормальный, адекватный человек будет всегда выступать за мир.
So yes, essentially this is what they're doing in Russia now, right? They found a way for even people who were anti-Putin, who were against the war from day one, right? They even found a way to make it palatable, kind of, right, to the fucking idiots. To make it look like a natural thing, how this person essentially went from, oh my god, no to war, to being Z, right? Essentially, the myth that they're creating here is that at the start of everything, Nastya Ivleeva was simply scared and shocked by this war that started. She was just a dumb little baby that didn't know anything about history. So she was like, oh my god, Russia's bad, Putin's bad. But then she finally started actually learning history, and she learned about the 8 years of incessant destruction and genocide of Russian lives, which totally actually happened. And now learning this historical facts, she's realized that she was actually not in the right. And of course, guys, at the end of the day, of course, she's against war, and we all realize here that we're all against war. This is absolutely normal for a human being, and of course, Russia is against war. Of course, Russia doesn't start wars. Russia only ends wars.
Войну начали они в 2014 году. Мы не начинали ее в 2022. Это попытка ее прекратить.
Yes, Russia doesn't want a war, the West wants the war, right? Vladimir Putin doesn't want the war either. He's the most peaceful guy out there. This is the fucking bullshit that they're essentially selling to people, right? That supposedly this person who was super anti-governmental before was just too dumb and just didn't know what was going on, but then realized and is now Z and, you know, is still anti-war somehow, because that makes sense, you know, to be anti-war and to be Z at the same time. My god, it's fucking despicable, and it's so hilarious because you can see that even she can barely like hold a straight face. She's like smiling when she's talking about the historical facts that she's learned to change her minds. Absolutely fuck off. Like this type of bullshit we've been hearing from all these stars that have turned around and realized the truth. No, you just decided that you would like to continue making money in Russia, and you just decided that your career is dog shit and that you essentially have absolutely zero chances to even realize yourself in the West or whatever. You decided that you're gonna stay a slave in the system and that you're gonna turn Z simply to continue making money and to continue making advertising contracts. So, suck my dick, okay? Please do. I see right through your bullshit.
В своем интервью Дина Саева сказала, что она маленькая наивная девочка, она показывала переписку, где Навальный там, о, у тебя клевое видео, вот у меня тоже вышло, не можешь ли ты поддержать? Для меня это вообще рассылка, очень похожа на рассылку ботом, но она почему-то восприняла это под какую-то личную просьбу и говорила, что одно время ему помогала, а потом поняла, что он ее использует. Было ли у тебя с ним какое-то общение? Как-то ты контактировала, поддерживала его? Потому что тогда это, вот даже это времена интервью Дудя, это был супер модно, хайповый, его многие блогеры считали его своим коллегой.
Сука. So yeah, they're talking about like another TikToker here who used to be a fan of Navalny and now decided that she would like to be Z instead and would like to make money in Russia. So she essentially said that she has never had to do anything with Navalny and he like tricked her into promoting him or whatever, right? So... First of all, I like the fucking wording he used, you know, маленькая наивная девочка.
Но она маленькая наивная девочка.
He's of course promoting the idea that Navalny is like a child predator that only like little teenagers believe or whatever. Suck my dick, Лука Ябков. Suck my big ass dick, you fucking bald dumbass. Это просто какая-то совковая мразь, просто с интонацией, блять, следака. Ну чё там? Так... Алексей Навальный. Контактировали с ним, может, как-то общались, переписка у вас была какая-то. Нет, я просто понимаю, в те времена достаточно популярно было увлекаться Навальным среди детей там и так далее. Так вот, вы Навальному донатили или нет? У вас по 282 сажать сейчас или через пару лет?
Тут надо понимать несколько вещей. Во-первых, я его никогда не поддерживала.
Отличная же девушка, просто молодец, замечательная, веселая. А самое главное, она ничем не зависит от этого государства.
У меня была публикация единожды, где я желала ему скорейшего выздоровления. Но это просто человеческий фактор.
Когда, типа, его отравили.
Да.
Типа. So yes, of course, he is also saying that Navalny's poisoning was also a hoax, you know, classic, you know, non-propaganda YouTuber, by the way, non-propaganda pundit here, Luka Ябков. So Nastya Ivleeva spends like the next 5 minutes explaining that she had never actually liked Navalny or whatever, and by far my favorite part of the video is this part right here. I just really want you guys to pay close attention to this one.
После той ситуации в рилсах опять завирусился отрывок с Дудем. Интервью было дано 6 лет назад, и я его пересмотрел. Я задам еще раз этот вопрос. Оказавшись перед Путиным, что ты ему скажешь?
So yes, you guys need context once again because you're Westerners, but like I've already said, Nastya Ivleeva was always pretty pro-Western or whatever, right? And a few years ago, she's given an interview to a pretty famous Russian YouTuber and journalist, Yuri Dudь, who has a YouTube channel called Vdudь. He's a guy that's very openly anti-Putin. He's had this question usually at the end of his interviews where he would ask every star or whatever that would come to the interview to basically answer the question, if you would see Vladimir Putin in front of you, what would you tell him?
Оказавшись перед Путиным, что ты ему скажешь?
Я ему скажу, что хватит.
And essentially back in the day in that interview, Nastya Ivleeva said, aren't you fucking tired?
Оказавшись перед Путиным, что ты ему скажешь?
Ты не заебался?
And now again, in 2024, this gentleman, Gaylord Fucker, is asking her the question, what she would say to Vladimir Putin now if she saw him right in front of our eyes. And let's hear it out.
Сейчас. Новая Настя.
Чем помочь?
Oh my god. Бедная моя Россия, блядь.
Ну, вообще, как ты сейчас, на данный момент, относишься к президенту нашей страны?
Симпатией и уважением, как к главе государства. А ты?
Сейчас нормально. Слушай, ну у нас так принято его почему-то ругать, а я вот не хочу его ругать никогда.
Вот, кстати, почему?
Вот я не знаю, вот такая мода у нас в стране. Вот я не хочу его ругать. Вот у всех пердаки рвет, а я говорю, Владимир Владимирович, мой президент. Вот иди.
I'm sorry guys, my React machine, my React engine has combusted. I can't. This is like physically fucking unbearable to watch. He's physically repellent.
Я всегда симпатия к нему относилась. У меня не было момента, чтобы я прям сидела и такая злилась его за что-то.
Ну, у меня был, я был ком. Но вот я сейчас, мне настолько нравится, как он всему миру пердаки рвет, а я вот люблю таких людей. Вот идет чувак против системы. И мне нравится.
Yeah, sure. That's like a great that's a great outlook on the world to have. I like my president because he's like making everybody in the world mad. He's making them butthurt. He's making them seethe. Yeah, you know, dude, that certain one Austrian painter, that guy also made a lot of people seethe. That guy also made a ton of people in the world very pissed. Also went against the system. Good guy, I guess, by your logic. I don't know, who the fuck else? Pol Pot probably made a couple of people in the world mad, you know? People were seething and coping and just butthurt. People were mad as shit. You mad, bro? Like, honestly, like, are you like 12 years old mentally? You're essentially describing millions of ruined lives and deaths of hundreds of thousands of people as a little trolling, right? Putin is just doing a little trolling, and you just like the little trolling that he's doing.
Сейчас мне настолько нравится, как он всему миру пердаки рвет, а я вот люблю таких людей. Вот идет чувак против системы, и мне нравится.
Go fuck yourself, you fucking insane person that has zero morals. You're not even a man. You have zero empathy for people.
Мне вот прям нравится.
Поддерживаю.
Ладно, не, я не буду на это реагировать, нахуй, я рот ебал. Yes, they also have like a section here where they talk about traditional values and how to make traditional values cool and how to make them cool with teenagers and promote them or whatever, like... You fucking idiots. You live in Narnia, you do realize that, right? I don't know, guys, this interview is fucking insane. It's insane. It feels like he's interviewing a person who's a victim of gay conversion therapy or some shit. You know, honestly, that's what it is. Except it's Z conversion therapy. Yes, being Z is being gay. I'm sorry. But yes, anyway, one thing I do like though is that at least if you go down in the comments, people actually shitting on Nastya Ivleeva and this guy. Tons of people are just making fun of her and essentially saying that, you know, this is absolutely crazy that this is what she decided to do with her life. And I also don't really understand it, quite frankly, because Nastya Ivleeva is like the wildest fucking case that's happened recently in Russia, because I would have never expected her to turn out this way, you know what I'm saying? Because once again, like I said, her actual fans and her actual fan base, they don't like what she's currently doing. They actually supported her throughout the entire thing with the cancellation with this entire naked party, and nobody from her fan base even thought that she was doing anything wrong or that she did anything wrong. So what is currently happening is not even not enjoyed by her fan base, but not even enjoyed by Z people. So I don't even know who the fuck she's gonna be making content for, because nobody even thinks she's real. But I guess this is what happens in Russia, you know? It's just absolutely incredible, because I think with this entire almost naked party debacle, we can see the biggest butterfly effect of all time. Like, it is so insane how many people's lives have been changed by this. And how Nastya Ivleeva, once again, a person that was always super pro-Western, super, like, progressive, open, whatever, it is very clear to me that she wanted to exist in a different Russia. It is very clear to me that she wanted to live in a Russia that would be open to the world, where she would be a big influencer, where she could collaborate and go to other countries and make exciting stuff and do fashion and all this shit and live that celebrity life, right? I thought that was her future, basically, right? However, what happened instead is that this naked party took place. She got cancelled, she got into trouble with the governments, and instead of essentially rebelling and actually staying true to your core values, instead of staying true to yourself, what she's done is that she's wear a mask for the rest of her life, or at least for the rest of this regime still existing. She's essentially sold out her entire worldview. Because also one thing I would like to mention at the end of the day is Nastya Ivleeva got famous from Orel y Reshka, which was a Russian/Ukrainian production, a travel show, in which her co-host was Anton Ptushkin, a Ukrainian who's obviously super pro-Ukrainian currently and outspoken. She's had tons of connections to Ukraine before and everything. Like, there is no fucking way she's authentically Z, okay? And basically what she's done is that she sold out herself and she sold out her worldviews. She sold out her dream life, essentially, just for the ability to stay in Russia and to continue making easy money. She didn't want to go through the hardship of trying to leave the country and maybe set a different life for herself outside of Russia. She could have done anything. I'm pretty sure she had the ability to move to any place she would want to. However, once again, she chose to stay in Russia and to continue just making money and to just continue to be like any other celebrity out there, to be spineless and to give interviews to Luka Yepkov, instead of, you know, actually doing things that she always dreamed of and, you know, being a worldwide celebrity or whatever, right? RIP, what can I say? And in my opinion, it's just really fucking sad, and I don't even blame her, honestly, because I really just cannot imagine what she had to go through, what kind of bullshit she had to deal throughout this entire time that she's essentially been under this cancellation campaign. I understand she might have been threatened, I understand that there's things that may have happened that simply forced her to be this way, but in any case, it is just an absolutely sad example of Russia breaking a person and completely breaking everything. This is basically 1984, right? Where you torture somebody to make them believe things that they don't believe. And I absolutely despise this shit. I absolutely despise everybody who's fucking taking part in this. I despise the fucking Luka Yipkov type interviewers who are literally interviewing people that they know are in a fucking hostage situation, essentially, right? But they don't care because they just want to use that for further Z propaganda. So, absolutely fuck you, and it's just absolutely sad to see what is happening to Russian celebrities. But once again, guys, I think all this proves is that celebrities are just ultimately spineless and are just never somebody that you should look up to because they just might turn Z one day. Бедная моя Россия, блядь. But yes, guys, I guess that is going to be pretty much it for today's video, though. If you guys did enjoy it, then please make sure to slap that like on it. As well, guys, if you do like what I do on this channel, if you would like to support it additionally, then go over to the link down in the description and become a YouTube member. It is basically like YouTube's own version of Patreon, and is a monthly donation, and it's the best way to support me. Or you can also do a super thanks underneath this video for a one-time donation. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.